Well, moving on, generative AI-focused enterprise tech startup Portkey.ai has raised $3 million as part of a seed funding round led by Lightspeed. Now, the round also saw participation from multiple angel investors, including AWS, OpenAI, Cloudflare, Postman, and Asana. The startup will deploy the funding to ramp up its R&D, build a language model operation stack, and expand its team size. The startup currently claims to serve millions of requests a day and has so far partnered with names such as Postman, GeoHaptic, and Springworks. Joining me now to discuss this further is Rohit Agarwal, the founder of Portkey. Rohit, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Now, generative AI is the big buzzword, and that's the market you're capitalizing on. You're helping businesses build and launch generative AI apps faster. So talk to me about what you have on offer. How are you doing this? And how big is this generative AI opportunity today?
Absolutely. Thanks for that, and glad to be here. I think we've been in generative AI, both me and my co-founder Ayush. We've been doing this for the last 3 years in the LLM generative AI space. And I think the big thing we've seen is that building a simple application and getting it out there is really easy. And we've seen a lot of excitement around generative AI because of the wide variety of use cases it can really cover. But the minute you want to get to anything complex, anything to production, to millions of users, you need a strong platform layer, which is now, there's a new category emerging called LLMOps, which is, a sister of almost DevOps to some extent. But you need this LLMOps platform to be able to help you build better, faster, safer generative AI applications. And that's what Portkey.ai is all about.
All right.
Having gone through that phase and built a lot of these components before we even started the company, we realized that as more and more companies adopt generative AI, and this is probably where the first 10% of the use cases that have been explored, there's a lot more to come. And a lot more software technology companies are going to need this LLM stack within their infrastructure.
All right, so only 10% of that market has been discovered at this point. Now, you've raised $3 million and you're a very new firm. You launched earlier this year, right? So talk to me about how you're going to use these funds to scale your services and give us a sense of what you have on what's there right now.
Sure. I think the best part for us has been that after ChatGPT launched, a whole host of technology companies just got onto including generative AI as part of their services. I think still there are a lot of companies trying to figure out what they want to do with this technology, but clearly it is magical, it's new, and there's just so many use cases out there. I think in terms of us, I think we've got onto a great start. We've partnered with some great brands. There are also a lot of partnerships in the works. But I think since the space is changing so fast and the technology stack itself almost reinvents itself every other month, a lot of these funds will be used for R&D, engineering, making sure we have the best product out there that helps other companies deploy these applications faster, better, safer, as I mentioned.
Right. And
we also want to focus a lot more on go-to-market. So how do we improve our developer experience so that adoption is easy? We will be spending a lot more time and effort and resources on building these right partnerships with companies like OpenAI and Anthropic, who are focused on LLMs,
right,
and even vector database companies. So, there's a whole ecosystem that's evolving. And I think we'll want to definitely build very strong partnerships in this, be it in India or in the US. I think the plan is to deploy it equally almost on R&D, engineering, building a great product, as well as forging the right partnerships to go forward.
Right. So 4 key areas there that you're going to spend your funds on. Now, you've been around since, like I said, the beginning of this year. So what's the kind of demand you've seen so far? Talk to us about the kind of clients you're working with and how do you plan to grow this further? Anything new that you're planning on launching as well?
Sure. I think the demand's been amazing because as more and more software companies start to add this to their arsenal, they're realizing that there are just so much complexities that they need to manage on their own. So you either build a platform by yourself, or you can use something like Portkey and just get started with it. So that way, I think we've seen that probably the first private beta launch, we would probably be doing about 10,000 calls a day. And we were happy to see, we go from 0 to 10,000 really fast. And then over the last month or two, we've seen it grow from 10,000 to 100,000 to almost 2.5 million requests a day now. So I think that way the adoption's been really fast, and we've seen a lot more companies come in and adopt. I think going forward, there's a concept of an AI gateway, which we want to really try and experiment with. And this could be really cool. So instead of you having to integrate with all of these different LLM providers and then manage these integrations independently, why don't you use something like an AI gateway, where Portkey becomes that AI gateway, and you can channel all of your integrations through the single gateway, which allows you the right kind of security, speed, the flexibility in moving across providers. So if you want OpenAI, you want LangChain, it's very easy to port between these providers. So essentially, you can build really complex, really interesting apps with the flexibility of having having all of the providers at your disposal.
Absolutely. And if you could quickly tell us, what's your business model like, and what's the target that you set for yourself in your first year of operations?
So the business model is, it's very much based on the API usage. Since companies connect to multiple different providers through Portkey, the number of API calls they make through Portkey is what we charge on. So I think we're still in the process of figuring out the best pricing for it. I think right now our goal is more to see what percentage of, say, an LLM provider's traffic can we route through Portkey. Because then that allows us to have very good economies of scale. And then also it gives, so every new customer that comes onto the platform benefits all of the existing network as well. And that is our goal right now, to see how many more people can route their spends through Portkey and derive that 10x benefit that the platform offers today.
Right. So still figuring out that pricing structure. All right, Rohit, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, but we're completely out of time, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you so much.